Hello, everyone, and welcome to this first masterclass here with Ministry Media Mastery. I am excited for you to be here. We'll start at 12. I am going to just go around and I'm going to share the links everywhere. You can start interacting in the comments and you can share with me what is your expectations. Put them in the comments below. What is your expectations of today? I'd really be extremely humbled if you could share that with me. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning from wherever you're watching in the world. I want to welcome everybody to the stream. Thank you for being here. I'm just sharing across, I'm just sharing the links everywhere where we are. If you're on this class already, would you say hello? Going to start at 12 o'clock. Thank you so much for attending. I appreciate you. Your time is so valuable. And I am extremely humbled for you to be here. I'm going to start in a few minutes. Thank you so much. And we're going to see 3 minutes to go. I'm just sharing the links to, I'm just sharing the links of all the streams everywhere. And then I'm going to share the link to today's workbook in the comments there, and I want to see if that's going to pull through as well. Thank you for joining us today. Good morning. If you can see me, if you can hear me, say hello in the comments. I'd love for you to give me some feedback. Just let me know that we are live, we're working, you can see me, everything is good. And we're going to start at 12 o'clock exactly. Excited for you to be here. We're going to talk today about reflection. Reflection as a part of the content creation process. And very excited for you to be here. There's a link in the comments. If you don't have it yet, go and click on that link. It is, hello, Pastor Eddie. Awesome for you to be here. If you don't have it yet, in the links there, in the comments, there is a link to a workbook. Hello, Pastor Cynthia. How are you? Thank you for being here. I'm very excited to have you here. A couple of seconds left and we'll officially start. And we're going to get going. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. We'll get you to interact quite a bit today. So make sure that you have your interaction cap on today. Couple of seconds and we'll start. Thank you for being here. Looking forward to engage with you. It's going to be awesome. Hello, Pastor Aya. Aya, how are you doing? Thank you so much. We're talking about reflection as the content process today, and we're going to start in a couple of seconds. Hey, I want to ask you, if you would not mind, would you click the share button wherever you are and share it on your platforms, so we can reach more people, and also just invite people. If you're on Facebook and most platforms, you can tag people, just put an @ in their name, and then they will go, and we can get them into the class. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ministry Media Masterclass. For today, it's the first one of this year. I'm very excited to have you here. As you can see right there, we are live from My Growth Academy, and the vision of My Growth Academy is Kingdom Standards in Educational Excellence. It is one of the things that we're very proud of, and this is a Ministry Media Masterclass. And I want to just share the slide here. I want to say welcome to it. And in Ministry Media Mastery, or this Ministry Media Masterclass, we have a core scripture that we want to share with you. On the screen there, you can see, I want to make it nice and big. I want to share with you 2 Corinthians 3, verse 3, in the New American Standard Version of the Bible. And it reads as follows: revealing yourselves that you are a letter of Christ. So that is what we want to do. We want to reveal you and your message as a letter of Christ delivered by us, through us. We want to help you with that. And then you are not written with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God. Not on tablets of stone, but on tablets of human hearts. And that is one of the scriptures that God gave me a couple months ago, and we started running with that. Today, we're going to talk about the value of reflection in creating content. And we're going to go quite deep into process today. And we're going to share with you quite a few and amazing stuff. If you're on the Telegram group, you would have had this workbook that I prepared for you. You can download that. I hope you've already done that. And then just print it out. We're going to do quite a couple of work on that today. And again, your engagement today is going to be very valuable to me. Thank you very much. Let's dive straight into what we want to do today, and that is the value of reflection in sharing, in creating your content. And so let's talk about content. Why are we talking about content in this, and we share it with ministries? The first thing is, content is a way that your ministry builds its voice and its messages. And so it's very important that we understand that there is a process. And I want to share with you quickly just the framework and the foundation that we use to develop media platforms when we work with ministries. There's 4 pillars. The first one is content. The second one is consistency. The third one is community. And the fourth one is collaboration. We're going to focus mostly today on the first 2 of those pillars. It's content and consistency. And I want to share with you what happens in this process. There's 3 things that will happen when you build your content and you start sharing it out. But before I share those 3 things, I want you to quickly feed back to me. I want you to share with me in the comments below, what is your expectation of today's masterclass? What are you looking forward to? What do you want to see? What do you want to hear? Put it in the comments below. What is your expectation? I am looking forward to getting your feedback. We want to also just share with you that a quote by one of the Ken Blanchard, one of the leadership influences that we have, and that is that feedback is the breakfast of champions. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. So in this masterclass today, there's going to be a lot of interaction from you. I want you to go in the comments. I want you to share. I want you to really be vulnerable and just share what is happening, and start right here and just share with us, what is your expectation of today? Go in the comments. I would appreciate that. Let's start with the 3 things that's going to happen, what content does for your ministry. The first one is it creates visibility for you. All right. So as you post content online, you show people your face, you start sharing what's in your heart. And just by posting content, what happens is your platform all of a sudden becomes visible, and people can now see, okay, here is a ministry. And what that does, that visibility does for you, if you do it correctly, you'll have your profile properly set up, and it will say, this is our church, this is our vision, this is our mission, this is what we do. And people start accommodating. Thank you, Pastor Aye. says he wishes to build upon and repurpose and market the existing platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you so much for that feedback. I really appreciate it. And so that's what's going to happen. You're going to become more visible. All right. And as you get your community involved in what you're doing, you'll increase that visibility. But we're going to share about that later. The second thing that's going to happen by your content being posted is you will start getting credibility, especially if you realize that it's important for my content to go out every week consistently. Consistency builds trust. We're going to talk about trust in a moment and how that brings forward your ministry's credibility. All right. This first thing is visibility. The second thing is credibility. All right, and credibility is through that consistency. Now, this is how it works. Decide that, listen, Monday, I'm going to share out a scripture or a quote for, say, a Motivational Monday. And I do that every Monday. Wednesday, I have videos. Maybe there's a snippet from the sermon on Sunday that I'm going to post on Wednesday. And I put that out on Wednesday, right? And to do that every week. What happens? You start building trust. Why? Because I'm credible. I'm here to stay. I keep on moving forward. I'm here to serve this community that God has drawn to me. It's a beautiful scripture that says, as Christ is lifted up, he will draw all men unto him. And if you're moving around with Christ and you're speaking and you're doing what he's doing, you're with him, you're working with him, what happens is you'll also be part of that harvest and the people being drawn to the proximity and what you're doing. All right, and so that's what happens. And let's say Friday you do a Q&A or you just post a funny video or whatever the case may be. That is a way for you to increase the visibility and the trust or credibility of your ministry by doing that consistently. And lastly, what will happen is you will start building influence. And influence, at the end of the day, is what you as a ministry want to achieve. You want to have influence. Why is that important? Because if you have consistency happening and you increase your influence, what you say and what you share has a lot more weight. People can be moved to action a lot quicker, a lot easier, because of this credibility and trust that you've built over time. And so let's just break that down real quick. Visibility is achieved through consistent content being posted. Right. Second one, credibility is achieved through consistency and the value provided through that consistency. So it's not just doing stuff, but it's providing value to people. You need to pay attention to your community and what they need. And what they need, give that to them. Remember, you are called to your community. And by giving your community what you have to give them, because I believe that God has deposited inside of you amazing things. And so if you take that and you give it to the people that it is for, you've been entrusted with gifts, with treasure. And it's your job to get it to who it's intended for, who needs it. And then after this process, what happens is influence is received when trust is established through this process. Now, what we're going to share today is we are going to share with you the value of reflection in the content creation process. And I'm sure you've asked yourself, why is this principle important? Why is this important? Why are we doing this? And here is why. If you understand how to get the most out of you, because I believe the Bible says you have there's treasure in earthen vessels. And so that gift, that treasure, if you know how to unearth it and get it to a place where it's presentable and people can partake of it, what's going to happen is that's going to be a blessing. And so where does this principle apply? In other words, what I'm going to learn today, how will that affect what I'm going to do? Where will it apply? Where will it make an impact? And so here is a couple. First one is your social media content. I know, and you know, that your social media platforms needs visibility and it needs content regularly going up. And so today, the process I'm going to teach you today is just how can I unearth that which is already there? Second one is conferences, right? Conferences, you might have a ministry, and that ministry might have a conference once a year, might be twice a year. But what happens is the conferences need content, and it needs to flow from somewhere, right? And so how do I get that value out? How do I know? And conference is a big element of the conferences. So workshops, it is, you engaging with people. So how do I develop that content? And that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, presentations or talks when you might be invited to business breakfasts or to schools or wherever God calls you to shine your light, that this process will help you to get the value out of you and do that. Ministry opportunities and events, ministry events, right? Creating your videos. This is a great process for that. Podcasts. I love podcasts. They are so little effort to do, but they have such a big impact. People listen more to podcasts than they watch videos these days. Books. If you have been sitting on a book and you regularly tell people, you know what, there's this book I'm writing, but it's been 10 years. Just put up your hand. Would you go in the comments and just say, that's me. That's me. I had a book in me. I've been writing it for 10 years or 5 years or whatever. Now, this process will help you do that. But in everything that we're going to do together, we're going to help you write a book quicker, faster. All right, so that you can actually get the most out of this process for you. All right. Lastly is courses. Courses is a great way for you to get to have the value processed in people. Right? I can do this masterclass, but if I didn't give you a workbook that you can download and work with me, where's it going to land? Okay, and so this is a class. I want you to remember that. I want you to participate, and I want you to make sure that you have that. Just a note there, as you can see, if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and then you can get all the updates. You'll also be notified of all the classes that we're doing or any of the content. I'd really appreciate that from you. So let's talk about reflection. What is reflection? Because we're going to work through this today. We're going to work through this, and we're going to make reflection count. We're going to use reflection as a tool to really get us where we need to be. And so reflection relates to pondering things, right? It's about thinking things through. It's the act of thinking deeply and carefully about a specific subject or an experience. All right, and let's be honest, let alone we spend too little time with God, but we spend too little time thinking and reflecting. What reflection does, it's introspection and self-evaluation, as well as examination of your own thoughts and feelings. Man, it's a very difficult thing to sit with yourself and your thoughts. There's feedback from Pastor Aye. He says, busy with the book for 2 years, Pastor Aye. Let's talk about how we can get that really working for you. And maybe next week we'll do a class on that, but it's really, really powerful. And reflection, what happens is it could be a really powerful tool for personal growth and development. Everything that I'm going to teach you today is going to achieve a couple of things, but two things mainly. One, personal growth will happen. But two, you will start knowing exactly where God's leading you to create content. Okay, and we're going to do quite a bit of work today. All right. So it allows you to gain insight into your own behaviors and beliefs. Okay. There's a question we're going to ask in a second where it says, listen, what do I deeply believe? Right? And I want you to just think about that and do feedback. And the questions I'm going to ask you in a second, I want you to go put it in the comments. Okay. I want you to go, but that's your participation. Then you can take the worksheet. If you don't have the worksheet, you have my number. Just let me know and I'll send you the link. But basically, when you're reflecting, what you want to do is you might want to consider questions as follows. Okay, and I want you to write this down. These questions. They're not in the notes. All right. This is, we are currently here, right? So I've gave you some space that you can write, and I want you to write down these questions. Okay. I want you to take an experience. It might be your born again experience. It might be an experience where you dived in a pool and you saved someone's life because they were drowning. Is there a metaphor in that? Maybe. It might be, hey, I have almost had an accident, or I should have died in an accident and I didn't, right? And I want you to take, and you can take multiple experiences. Your marriage. It could be the day your child was born, any of those. And I want you to write down these questions, okay? And I want you to take, this is where you really use reflection as a tool to get the value out of here, because you want to get the values out. You want to get what's important to me out. And when you do that, it starts becoming clear. What is your ministry about? What do you want to talk about? Okay, we're going to do a lot of questions in that. Write these questions down. First, what did I learn from this experience? What did I learn from this experience? And when we ask that question, we are going back, and it might be traumatic, but we're going to say, okay, I'm now in hindsight. I'm not in trauma anymore. It didn't just happen. I'm not in trauma afterwards. I'm now in reflection. And I'm now like, what did I learn? Right? It might be you didn't die in an accident, or you could have had an accident where I had this one time where I was going across the road and I didn't see my life flash past my eye, in front of my eyes, but I was turning, and as I turned, a car went past, and I said, you know what? I could have basically died there. And what did I learn? Be more careful when you turn the road. Be clear. Make sure that you check that there's no cars, right? And so sometimes there's simple lessons that come out of that. Here's the second question. What were my strengths and my weaknesses in that situation? In other words, what did I do well and what could I have done better? Right? And so in that simple, just look better. Make sure that you are clear about what's happening in front of you. The third question. How did my behavior impact other people? Okay, I might have been in an accident. I might have caused an accident. So let me give you an example. One day, it was 6 o'clock. I went to meet someone at Mug and Bean close by. It was about, say, 2 kilometers away, and they weren't there. But I didn't sleep well. I wasn't I was quite tired, and so I went across the road, and I had to again just drive over. And what I did, I drove over and I T-boned someone. My first response, go to the car, and the mom got out, the son were lying there, and she was like, obviously freaking out. And I'm like, my first response was, let's pray, right? We have insurance. Your son is there. Let's pray for him. Let's pray that everything works out. Okay, and that is very, very important. And so reflecting on that, I now learned, how did my behavior impact others? Things were much better. The outcome was much better because I made sure that I prayed first. Okay. The fourth question, what could I have done differently? Okay. And then lastly, what will I do differently in the future? Those 5 questions helps you work through experiences and get the value out so that you can grow and you can teach others. And I'm going to teach you something really powerful in a second on how this process can really help you create the best content that you can create. Now, the answers to these questions and any others that you might be doing serve as a guide to guide you to the value that's inside of you. If we don't do reflection, introspection, and we go and unpack what happened, what's going to happen is we're not going to learn from the experiences, so we can't teach it to other people. That's the foundation of good content, is drawing from our strengths and experiences and then sharing the valuable lessons and creating teaching moments and having value conversations with people that people can get value from and they can grow from that. That is where really powerful things happen. Just a segue real quick. If you are on LinkedIn, search for Ivin Viljoen and connect with me there. I would really appreciate that. Would be really awesome. But let's go to the next I want to share this quote with you. John Maxwell says, reflection turns experience into insight, right? So often what we do is we ask, okay, what did I learn from this? Okay, something traumatic happened. Something happened to me. What did I gain from this? Right? And so that's really powerful. Reflection turns experiences into insight. And so what I want to do is I want to teach you something that I learned not very recently, actually, from John Maxwell. It's the 4I process of development. Okay. It's not in your notes. And if you take your notes and you page over, we are now on the slide here, the green one, that like you see on the screen. And so there's some space for you to write this down. I want you to write down these 4 I's. Okay, the first one is investigation. All right. What you want to do is you want to find meaning in your experiences, right? Investigate. And that's why I gave you those 5 questions. Those 5 questions guided you, served as a guide as unearthing what was the teaching moments, what did I learn from this, what can I do better, those kind of things. The first one is investigation, finding meaning in experiences. The second one is incubation, which allows the experiences and thoughts to grow to its full potential. Wow, Ivan, are you telling me that if I have an experience and I do reflection, I can actually gain insight from that? Absolutely. It's amazing if you just do some self-work, what can come out of that. And as a ministry, as a son of God, as someone that serves Jesus Christ, it's important that we unearth what's inside of you and share it with people. Okay, the third one is illumination. And this is the process of placing value on your experiences and your performance. This is where the value has been added. Processes happened, like for instance, milk processed becomes cream, right? And value is added to it. The same thing, we as humans and children of God, as we go through this process, we see, okay, what's happening here is I'm being added value through the experiences. So recapping those 3, investigation, incubation, illumination. Lastly, illustration. This is where this is the process of expanding our experiences into teachable moments. And this is where ministry begins. This is where ministry begins. This is where we take what we've gotten and what we've gone through, and now we're putting it into a moment where we can transfer experience and knowledge to someone, and they can gain from that. Right? Good ministry comes from 2 things: reflection and deep introspection. Okay, both these practices are very difficult when you don't have questions leading you. And that's the next thing I want to do. And if you have the workbook, you have these questions already. And now I want you to participate. Okay, and if you don't feel that these questions are too personal, maybe you can just go oppervlakkig, superficial. Just share in the comments. I want you to reply. I want you to share in the comments answers to these questions, right? But what I want you to do is I'm going to show you 2 things. First is the process, the questions that I encourage you to go and ask yourself, right, and write the answers to. And then when we're done with the questions, I'm going to teach you how to do 7 levels of discovery. Okay? So here are the questions. The first one is, what do you believe your purpose to be? Quickly in the chat, you go and just post, what do you believe your purpose to be? Love your feedback there. And while we're doing that, I'm going to play a little bit of background music, because this is now where we are doing a little bit of workshop, right? What do you believe your purpose to be? In the comments. If you don't want to in the comments, just go write it down in your notes or on a piece of paper. What would your purpose be? Now here you could give one word answer. You could give a 2-word answer. You can quickly write a sentence if you like. But the deep work is not going to be done in this class. The deep work is going to be done you taking these questions and this worksheet away with you and actually going to work through it. And we have some feedback from Pastor Aya. Producing creative and learning resources to help transform hearts and minds. That's powerful. Thank you so much. It's really good when we are clear on what we're doing, then we become a lot more effective. The second question, really simple question. What are your values? So my values are simple. My values is edification, celebration, engagement with people. My values are communication, what I'm kind of doing here. So what is your values? What is your values? What is your values? You can just write one. You can write 3. You can write 5, depending on what comes up immediately. But as I said, I want to encourage you to go and do more work. Go deeper, do deeper work after this today. Okay. Third question, what is your primary mission in life? What is your primary mission in life? In other words, what were you created for? You were born, you were raised up, the process of becoming, I call it the, what do you call it? Anyway, I'll tell you later if it comes to mind. But that process of becoming who you are, and then one day you're like, this is why I was born. And you know exactly what your mission is. What is your mission? Fourth, what is your vision? In other words, what do you see the future? What do you see the future looks like? What does the future look like for you? Fifth question, what are you passionate about? In other words, what gives you a fire inside of you? What can't you live without, kind of thing? Okay, what are you passionate about? Awesome. Thank you for the feedback. This one is a very good question, right? What makes you angry? This also relates to your passion. What makes you uncomfortable? What makes you bubble, right? Those are usually very closely connected to values that have been violated. Okay, what makes you happy? What gives you elation? What makes you feel, wow, I've achieved something, I'm happy now? What makes you happy? Is it coffee in the morning? Is it your quiet time? Is it singing? Is it presenting a class like this? Is it, what is it? What makes you happy? That is powerful. Pastor Aya said, vision of a production resort, right? Listen to this, the big vision, a production resort for broadcasting good news. And so, Pastor Aya, one of the things that we're looking at is doing a retreat where we teach these things, 4 days, practical as well, and you go away with a plan and some content as well. So that's going to be really powerful. What do you regularly speak about? So often, let's say for me, I often speak about obviously media and ministry. I often speak about team building, leadership. And so those guides what I develop every day. Next question, what inspires you? Right? What makes your eyes light up? What makes the light go on above your head? What gives you energy? Okay. The next question that would guide you towards good content is, what are your strengths? And here, thank you. And here, your strengths, what we're talking about here is the best way to find this. You can do lots of tests. There's lots of tests online. You can go research DISC. You can go research bank code. You can go and search motivational gift tests. You can go and reach. You can go research Strengths Finder. Those are tools and resources that you can use to really dig deep into What can I use as tools to be more effective in ministry, in communication, in dealing with people, in serving my community? But a really powerful thing you could do is go to your friends, your associates, and ask them, what do you think I'm really good at? What makes me a blessing, kind of, right? Some more questions. What communities am I a part of? Okay, so if you have a golfing community, that's a ministry opportunity. Okay, that's a great place. You can go and teach kids or teach your peers how to play golf properly. It's a ministry opportunity because in between you can actually go and you can share the gospel. Often, when communities are drawn to you, it gives you a good indication of what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, there was a comment about this. What are the top 3 people that inspires you? Okay, that will give you an indication as well of what kind of content can I create? What should I be pursuing and doing and reading about? What do you regularly write about? Do you write? Do you write articles? Do you write Facebook posts? You know, you might just be writing one-liners. I do quite a bit of content, but sometimes I just write a sentence down. Right? Sometimes I just write a sentence down, and on Facebook. But this is a thought. This is what and so you'll go and see, and you'll see I regularly write about certain things. What are you majoring? Have you gone and studied a major? If someone would say, listen, if you were to teach a class, it should be about this. Last 2 questions. What do you feel you're an expert in? In other words, what do you feel you do really well? And lastly, what do you deeply believe? Like at your core, what moves you? What moves you? Right? And so those are some questions that can lead me. There's a lot more, obviously, but I wanted to share those with you. Those are the core, what we do in our program that we use to help develop content in people. Now on the screen, you can see we're going to talk about 7 levels of development. How can I go 7 levels deep? And this is where it really becomes powerful. So every question that you've answered so far, okay, I wanna challenge you to stretch yourself, because this is what's possible. Every one of those things that you mentioned, it's possible for you to go 7 levels deep with every answer that you gave. And I'm going to explain it to you. This is what Dean Graziosi teaches. And he says from experience, there's 7 levels of engagement and development in terms of concepts that you might be developing. Okay, so if you talk about, I'm going to give you an example, but if you take every one of these questions, any other questions that you're doing in terms of development, what you can do is you can actually go and you can go 7 levels deep with everyone. I can give you an example. Let's say I'm working through the questions and you're taking the first one. What do you believe your purpose is? So I wrote down, my purpose is to dig the gold out of pastors and ministries, help them package their message so it can get to who it's intended for, build the channels for that message to get there, and help them serve their community through it. Now, as you can see, I've done a lot of work on this already. Now, what I've done is I've gone and I've challenged myself. Okay, I've gone and challenged myself, and I've gone level 2 in developing every one of these questions. So level 2, from my answer, I now go and I say, I'm going to give you a preset and I'm going to explain to you how it works. Basically, you go and you unpack every answer. So I've asked the question, I've answered it. And then every level after that, what I do is I go and ask a question, why? 6 and 7 goes even deeper. I'm going to show you in a minute. So here, level 2 of development here is I ask, why do you think this is your purpose? So I wrote down, I found myself doing this naturally many times before. I have a passion for it, and I get a feeling of elation when I see a ministry become successful through the process. Level 3, why? Why do you think you experience this? as such a natural environment, feeling elated when the message lands? Well, it's because the transformation that happens in the community when the ministry is effective in messaging and serving the community. That was my answer. We can go deeper. Level 4. Why do you like transformation and effective messaging? I believe it's what Jesus wants from us, is transformation. The purpose he came to earth, effective messaging and successful service through it is what brings transformation. Level 5. Why do you think transformation is a successful service? So I went and I answered more deeply. When transformation happens, people change. They fulfill their purpose, they heed the call in their lives, and they impact the world. Now, level 6 is specifically, why is transformation necessary? Right? And I said transformation is necessary because the world is lost. They need hope and freedom, which empowered ministries can provide if they effectively communicate. Last level, again, why? Why is it important to you that the world is not lost anymore, the hope is achieved, and the world finds freedom? And so here we go. Because if we get to the crux of the kingdom's existence, the mission, the purpose, the wealth that's available is because of souls, people being free. And there we came to the purpose of everything, the reason for almost every mission in ministry. When I speak about what we do, there's one thing where all of us in this room is aligned, and that is where we're all serving the purpose of souls. And every mechanism in the kingdom and Christian environment have this as their end goal. And so to recap, this is what we spoke about today. We spoke about why are we relating reflection to content and how will it add value, the areas that it will add value. We spoke about reflection, what it is, how does it work. I gave you 5 questions to start with. Then we said if you go and take questions, that helps in journaling, for instance. Also, go and unpack all of those things. And then we went through, okay, what kind of questions can I ask? And you've given me some answers in the comments. I appreciate that. But I want you to take the workbook away with you, and I want you to go and spend the next week. This could be a 4-week process. Depends on how much time you want to give it. Remember, the more time you put into it, the better the results are going to be for you. So go and work through those questions. So first, take all those questions and work through them. Answer proper full sentences. Then challenge yourself and go 7 levels deep with every one of those. And that is the masterclass for today. Now, what I want to do is I want you to quickly go in the comment section. If you have any questions, to quickly post them in the comment section. Any questions that you may have, post them in the comment section and we'll quickly answer them. I would really appreciate if you could do that. Just lastly, if you're not part of our Telegram channel yet, there is the link. You can check it out, click on it, and join our channel. It's free, and people are really blessed through it. And I'm going to share it quickly in the comments below, and I will go and look at all the platforms afterwards and just post them there. If you have any questions, post them in the comments so I can answer them quickly. Otherwise, we can wrap it up and we can make this happen. Okay, any questions, post them in the comments and we quickly answer them. And while we wait for questions, why don't we do this as well? If you're watching this, even in the replay, I want you to go and please post in the comment section below, what is your takeaway from today? What did you learn? What is your biggest takeaway from what we've done and what we've shared today? In the comments below, I'd really appreciate it. This is the audience participation part of the meeting. This is where your feedback adds value to my experience. I am encouraged because you're giving me, you're sharing with me what happened. Pastor Cynthia says, wow, need to reflect on today's session first. Yes, Pastor Cynthia, very welcome. What I've given you today is basically just tools that you can take and you can work through. And the more time you spend on this, the more value is going to come out of it. You're going to grow, and your ministry and your message is also going to grow, be more clear, and it's become more effective. And at a later stage, we'll do more content exercises Pastor Ayes says, went back to a core feeling of compassion derived from personal experiences. Absolutely. Thank you so much. We have time for one or two more comments. It's only been 40 minutes. Can you believe it? Usually this takes like an hour. We run out of time, but it's been absolutely amazing. Anybody else on the call, share with me your thoughts. What have you learned today? What have you, what is the value that you received? What is your takeaway from today? I would really appreciate it. Let's go through some of the comments here. Pastor Cynthia and Pastor Aya really participated today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. And that's really powerful. I love you. Thank you very much. We're going to do this every week. And so how you can help me and my ministry is you can simply invite people to the Telegram group where all of the activities here. I share all the resources in there. This call or this class is promoted there and all the links are shared. We're going to do a lot more resources and things that we're going to share in there. So if you want to bless me, I would really appreciate if you would share the Telegram group link with someone that they can join and they can get the value as well. We are building up towards a launch where probably 8 weeks from now or so, we are going to launch the program, and we want you to be part of it. Why? Because it is about the value exchange, and I'm going to show you how God is using us and this ministry to really make a big impact. Pastor Arthur said, I joined late, but we'll see if I can work on the workbook. Pastor Arthur, here is a tip. Go back to the beginning. After I finished with this, you can go watch the replay. So go watch it from the beginning, go right through. After you downloaded the book and printed it, and then work through it. You'll get the most value from this. Thank you, Pastor Aya. I really appreciate you. Your team is very welcome. They can watch the replay. That's one thing that you can do. I bless every one of you. Thank you for participating today. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to engaging with you again next week. Thank you for making the time. And I hope that the time that you gave me and the exchange was valuable for you. Thank you again. Remember to invite people to the Telegram group. I'm going to post a little invite that you can basically just copy and paste. And then you can share it with people on WhatsApp, on Telegram. I'd really appreciate it for this community to grow. I started promoting this community a week ago. We were already 31 people there, and that's really, really a blessing for me. And it shows me that, listen, we are on the right track. Thank you so much. I bless you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week.